I believe in Joe Hendry, just not for NXT No Mercy. You see, as much as Joe Hendry winning the NXT Championship would be fantastic, right, and a great way to establish the WWE TNA partnership and prove that, hey, it is beneficial to both parties, I just don't think it's the right move right now. Let me explain. So, tonight is NXT No Mercy, and it is a very, very good card. But a lot of people are naturally talking about the TNA involvement. We're getting Zachary Wentz versus Wes Lee, which now has more added stakes because Zachary Wentz is now the X Division champion. Hey, if you could schedule it to become an X Division championship match, that'd be really, really cool. Probably not going to happen, but hey, it would be cool. And also the main event, or what will most likely be the main event, which is Joe Hendry versus Ethan Page for the NXT Championship, with Trick Williams as special guest referee. Can I get a whoop that Trick one time? Probably. And whilst a lot of people are behind Joe Hendry, myself included, as a big fan of Joe Hendry for the longest time, I'm so glad that he's getting this opportunity. I just don't think No Mercy is the time that you put the NXT Championship on Joe Hendry. And it's very simple why. Ethan Page's title reign has just begun. He has had a Heatwave defense, and he had a defense on NXT, but he has not had a proper NXT premium live event defense, one that's on the network. All right, so I think you hold off on, if you're going to give Joe Hendry the NXT Championship, you hold off for a little bit, because losing at No Mercy hurts Ethan Page more than Joe Hendry, and that's as simple as that. Joe Hendry is over as all hell, right? He is probably one of the biggest names in wrestling that isn't signed to AEW or WWE. I mean, you can argue with a wall that one. I mean, come on now. Everybody at this point in the wrestling sphere knows who Joe Hendry is to some extent. And whether you like him or not, doesn't matter. You have to admit that this man has been able to make a name for himself and make a massive impact in the wrestling sphere. And I think, whilst again, you can hop on the bandwagon and put the belt on Joe Hendry and ride the wave of momentum, WWE don't know how to book guys like Joe Hendry. They will run his shtick into the ground so quickly that his reign is going to become a short-lived thing, because the hype will die down about the say his name and he appears, which is only just a small part of what makes Joe Hendry Joe Hendry. So, what is the logical move? There are a couple ways that they could end that match at No Mercy, and it would still be a great finish. They can have Ethan win, clean as a whistle. You know, Trick Williams does like the whole 1, 2, begrudgingly counts the 3. I don't know if that's the best way to do it if you're going to have Joe Hendry eventually become NXT champion. You know, if WWE do want to sign this man at some point, which, let's face it, they probably do, they are probably going to poach TNA of all of their good talent. Don't say I didn't warn you guys, it's probably going to happen. But then there is also the idea of a ref bump, and then Ethan Page cheats to win, or you have Trick Williams cost Joe Hendry the belt, because of the fact that Trick is still bitter that he's not the NXT champion right now. Lots of avenues you could go down with that, right? There's a lot of room for what ifs and maybes and whatnot. But again, I am in the firm camp that Joe Hendry's first major world championship should be the TNA world title. And I don't see there being any other way around it. To me, he got his break in Impact. He has been there for what, a few years now? He's been digital media champion. He's been climbing the ranks of TNA ever since. I think it only makes sense that the company that helped build him should be the first company to give him a top championship. So he's only ever been WCPW world champion in terms of top belts. So I think TNA should flat out say to him, hey, if you're going to remain loyal with us and you're going to stay in TNA, we will give you the world title. And I reckon he'll take it, right? Because to me, TNA need to keep either Joe Hendry or Jordan Grace. It's just becoming like a big thing about the TNA WWE relationship, which I have a very nuanced opinion about, which is I think it's fine until WWE start poaching everybody that TNA has. Okay, so that's why I'm saying TNA need to start power playing a little bit with this partnership, which is what I think Zachary Wentz winning the X Division title was about. I do think that that was an absolute power play on TNA's part. And I do think that the power play here is actually kind of weird, because they're going to say, we don't want Joe Hendry to win the NXT title, or it's okay, you can give him the NXT title, but we don't want him to stay in NXT. I just think you've got to look at it from the sense that it feels weird if we go from new guy comes in Ethan Page and beats Trick Williams to not even signed to the company Joe Hendry beats said new guy. Who have you built from NXT at that point, right? Noam Dar hasn't come back yet, and to me, he's like one of the front runners to take the NXT title off of Ethan Page. There's Javon Evans, who is absolutely climbing the ranks. I mean, you could even have like a Duke Hudson or a Riley Osborne of Chase U. Shout outs to Chase U. You could do Nathan Fraser. You could do Axiom. Yeah, there's a lot of NXT talent that could feasibly take the belt off of Ethan Page. You could even do Oba Femi. If, like, once he loses the North American title, which is probably not going to be for a long time yet, he's probably on that belt for a while to come. You know, you could position Oba Femi to take the belt off of Ethan Page. There's a lot of opportunities that aren't a non-WWE guy, you know? Don't get me wrong. I love Joe Hendry. I love him to death. I think he's fantastic. But I do think Ethan Page has more to lose by losing the NXT title tonight than Joe Hendry gains from winning it. But let me know what you guys think. See ya.